Hello, welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is November the 30th, 2023. And for those that may be new to my channel and don't know, I'm coming to you from southwestern Ontario in Canada. And I'm all about showing finished objects and some of my works in progress. I am about crochet, but I do have followers that are knitters. I don't knit myself, but I do show yarn, which I know appeals to many of my followers. And when I say yarn, I'm talking about the luxury yarns. I like to show hand-dyed yarns and yarns that have, fibers like merino and alpaca and silk and other lovely fibers in them. I realize not everybody is going to be purchasing them, but I know that they like to hear about them and I like to share about them because I know there are so many other channels that will show you yarns from the big box stores. And honestly, I don't have access to many big box stores. I know I could shop online, but the big box stores that are in the US, either they don't ship to Canada or their shipping rates are ridiculous. And right now, the exchange rate is out of this world. So shopping in the US is just not something I do very much of. But I really like to focus on Canadian hand dyers and share that information with my viewers because if you're into buying some hand-dyed yarn, the exchange rate is so high that you would get a really good price on it. So anyway, enough about that. The other thing, the other reason I think that I have a number of followers, not necessarily crocheters, is that I do a monthly CAL, and I call it a CAL, C-A-L, but it can be a K-A-L as well. And that's what today's episode is about. Once a month, I show an inspiration picture. This year, I've been showing the flower of the month, and we use it as inspiration to create something, whether it be knitted or crocheted, or you could weave, or whatever it is you enjoy to do in the fiber community. And you submit your pictures to me by the end of the month, and then I do a slideshow showing all of your work. And today is that day. Usually it's on the first of the next month, but for special reasons, which we'll talk about later, this month I am doing the slideshow on the very last day of the month. So if you're just happening by chance, as if this is your first time stopping by to see what I'm about, you might want to stick around and see the slideshow because I know everybody enjoys it thoroughly. But just a few minutes before I start that slideshow, I want to start by talking about what am I wearing. I don't know if I'll be wearing it for the whole show. This is a cowl or infinity scarf. It actually is wound around my neck twice. And it's made with a fun fur from Loops and Threads. Has really big holes. That's the only way you can see it to be able to work with it. It's just as soft and heavenly as can be. And I thought I would try something like this. All it is the moss stitch with a very big hook so that I could find the stitches as I was going. So I thought it's kind of cool down here today and I felt like something snuggly. So I put this on, but as it warms up, I might change my mind. I look like I'm really like hunkered in there, but it's not overly tight. It's just might be a bit warm. So I'm going to start by showing you the item I made this month. And if you give me half a second here, I could look up the name of it. It was a pattern I found in Ravelry, and I was not prepared ahead of time. I have my Ravelry page open here, so as soon as it loads, I can tell you the name of it. It had a very, very unique construction. We're not, oh, here it is. It's called, I don't know if I can pronounce this. One of my viewers actually did this and submitted it last month or the month before, and it's something like Hostgringe, but the translation is Autumn Garden. And this is what it looks like, the original pattern. I, of course, use different colors, and I will link it below. And the designer's name isn't there, but the designer has a blog, and you can go there and get the pattern free if you like, but it's also sold in Ravelry. So here is my version of it. It has not been blocked. Well, that didn't work. Where is it? Oh, it's over here now. It was behind me. Has not been blocked yet. I just finished it on the weekend and I haven't had time to block it. It's quite big, so I'm going to have to find a big space for it. And it starts, remember, have 4 colors in it from the inspiration picture. Should I put the inspiration picture up once more? I think I will. And I chose 4 colors from that picture. I started with the red, and it went into this sort of medium blue, and then on into the dark blue, and to the purple, and then it repeated. Red again, medium blue, darker blue, more like a royal blue, and purple. So I'll try to hold it up so you can see it. I'll move back a bit. This is 68 inches wide. There's the beginning. It goes across to here, and it ends there. Now I'm going to try and get a picture. So before I upload this, I will put a picture of the whole thing. Maybe I'll fill the screen with it. I'll put a picture of the entire thing laying on the floor. But this had a very unique construction. You start at this end, and you start in the same way you would with a shawl, working back and forth, but you don't go straight out. It has double crocheted 2 together on each side to keep it from getting too wide. But there is the center like you would have in a shawl, but it's not getting really wide. And there's a lot of just open lace work and double crochets and V stitches. But you can see it's getting wider and wider with the center spot like a shawl, but it's not getting as wide as a shawl. And you work down, and then it has this flower pattern in there. And you keep working down in the same way until you get to the red area. And once you finish the red area, you then only work on one side of that V, and you get narrower until you get down to a point again. So you end up with a point on both sides, like a shawl, and you have a point in the center, but you can see that it's like a V down there, and then you only do one side of the V to finish it off into a shawl shape. So that was very different. And while I was working on it, I got a little concerned because I was using 4 half hanks, you might say. They were 50 grams, so 200 yards in each, 400. 800 is usually a shawl, but this is a very large shawl. And I used a 4mm hook. I wish I'd started at the very beginning with a 3.5mm hook, because this is how much I had left. There's the red, right down to the last thing. When I was working with the second color, the light blue, the second time, I actually should have done one more section of this blue, and I didn't have enough for another row, so I stopped and changed to the other blue and did as much as I could with that blue. I don't even have a remnant to show you because I had like a tail this long that went in the garbage. And then I switched over to the purple, which should have been a very tiny V at the end, but I went to the very end of the purple, and I was worried, but I had enough to do it with that much left over. So from 800 yards, this is what's left over. If you're thinking of doing it, make sure you have more than I had, or use a 3.5mm hook. I did, when I got to the purple, I switched to a 3.5mm. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I wanted to be sure I had enough. I did realize that if I ran out of the purple near the end, I might be able to do a couple of, small rows at the end with this. Anyhow, I made it. But that's what you do. You make this kite shape to here, and then you finish it with this extra wing at the side. So that's my November item, using the chrysanthemum as the inspiration. Put that back there out of the way. So now we're going to look at your items, and I have to, well, sorry about that, but the battery just went dead in my iPad, so I had to go and recharge for a little bit. In the meantime, I got warm and I took off the scarf. So I was about to start with the slideshow. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen with your pictures. The first one is from Cindy, who is in Costa Rica. And once again, she sends us a blanket that she eventually puts into a donation pile. And then we have Debbie in Arizona, and she has 2 projects for us this month. The first is a hat and scarf set that she made with nice bright colors and black contrast, so that certainly fits the inspiration. And she also had a kit for, excuse me, for a unicorn that her granddaughter made, and she sent me a picture of that as well. Got a tickle in my throat. Next, we have a submission from Ellen, who lives in Illinois, and she sent me a picture of a scarf, and she said there was no pattern. She just made rows of cross stitches, alternating front and back cross stitches that she made with Lion Brand Yarnado. Now, I'm not familiar with that yarn, so it must have been in her stash for a little while. Then I received from Kathy, who is in Ontario, a blanket, and this is a Boggy Creek Christmas blanket, and the pattern is by Angela from My Precious Yarnery. She has a YouTube channel, and she's also in Ontario. And then she sent me a picture of slippers, and she said these are the Bernat Quickie slippers, and it's a free pattern on Your Inspiration. Then we have Michelle from Utah, who was sent this dragon eye pillow. And I don't know who's getting that dragon eye pillow, but I have a feeling somebody is getting it for Christmas. And she said it's a pattern from Hooked by Katie. Barbara in Alberta said she did something different this month. She actually knit, which she doesn't usually do. She knit this peekaboo baby blanket, and it's a pattern by Snuffle Bean Yarns. And I always look forward to Josephine's submission. She is in North Carolina. And here are her 3 granny squares. And the 2 of them are, again, from the Ultimate Granny Square source book. But she never ends to amaze me on her 3D creation. And I remember thinking before I got her submission, now how on earth is she going to possibly show this chrysanthemum? Well, lo and behold, she did. Here is the 3D chrysanthemum. And she says she got it from Be Creative and Healthy, who are on YouTube. And I think what she did was substitute some colors to make it more like our inspiration. You just never cease to amaze me. Then Renee, who is in Alabama, has sent us the picture of her knitted cowl. And Faith, who I still don't know where she's from, has sent us a picture of a pocketbook that she has done this month. And Adam, who is in the UK, has done an asymmetrical scarf of just plain double crochets, he said, and he used Papatya cake yarn. It certainly had the right colors in that cake. Now, we know Carrie as the lady who likes to do amigurumi, and Carrie, by the way, is in Ontario. And this month, she's gone a step further, and she has made a lovey. She's actually made the head as well, and put on this rainbow skirt. Very nice and colorful. And Lillianne, I think it's Lillianne, who is in Ontario, has sent a picture of this unisex scarf that is from Crystal at Bagaudet. Anita is in India, and she has done this very colorful doily that she says actually was a rug pattern, and she made it into the doily, and it is knitted as well. And HD, and again, I don't know where she's from, knitted this sweater from a Hobie pattern, and she made some adjustments to fit her little girl. And Tammy, who is somewhere in Canada, has sent 3 items. The first is a purse, and then the next 2, I can't be positive, but I think they might be fingerless gloves. I thought at first maybe they were leg warmers, but on looking at them again, I think I can see thumb holes up there near the ends, which makes me think they are fingerless gloves. Lenan is from Florida, and she has done this matching cowl and headband, or ear warmer, whichever you prefer to call it. So she really liked the color through the center and wanted to use every last little bit of it. Then we get Sigal, who is in Israel, and we want to take a moment to appreciate the turmoil and unrest that Sigal is going through at the moment. And she said she has had trouble being inspired to crochet or knit, but she then came across this very simple knitted scarf pattern from Ross. Ross is Here's the channel, Smells Like Yarn. I think most of you have heard of that. And the pattern is called Jack, and it can be found on his website or on Ravelry. Then Magina, who is from Connecticut, has sent us a picture of this cowl, and it uses the almond stitch. I've not ever heard of the almond stitch. And Susan, who is in New Jersey, sticking to the same part of the country, she's made this colorful dress for her lovey. Looks like a Barbie lovey. And Bonnie, as you know, is here in town, and she has made this shawl. And if she told me the name, and she probably did, I've forgotten it by now, and it is already in our donation box. And Carmen is from California, and she has done this one skein granny neck warmer, and it is by Sweet Bee Crochet, which can be found on Ravelry. And Sherry from Alabama has done this, I lost my place. She has done this beanie, which she selected from Crystal's top 10 beanies, Crystal at Bag a Day. And Rosanna, who is also in Ontario, has done this shawl, and she used a pattern from Carrie Penny, and she also donates her shawls. Rebecca, who is from Mississippi, has made this scarf. I call them fashion scarves because they aren't your typical long scarves or outdoor scarves. And it's a scarf called Finding Balance by C.J. Brady. You know, I like her patterns, and I have done that particular pattern, Finding Balance. Then Hillary, and again, I have no clue where Hillary is. She said she's submitting this hat that she really enjoyed making. Then we have Lisa from Saskatchewan, and she said she doesn't have a particular pattern, but she made these lovely ornaments. She said she used to make them and hasn't made them in a while and wondered why. She thought it was time to get back to it. And as soon as she spent a day making them, she very quickly remembered why she doesn't make them anymore, because then the next day her hands pay for it. It really flares up the arthritis. So she's in pain after doing them, but they're quite lovely, Lisa. Then we have Deb, also from Arizona, and she has used a pattern from Crystal at Bag o' Day. She didn't tell me the name. So here's the shawl that she has done. It looks familiar to me, but I couldn't place the name of it. And then we have another Barbara who is from Missouri. This is Barbara B. And she's done this colorful doily in what is probably crochet cotton or a very, very fine lace weight yarn. And we have another Lisa who is in Canada, but I don't know where. She used the tutorial of this shawl from Crochet with Claire, and she decided to just put armholes in it. That's why she laid it out. You can see where the armholes are, to make it into a cardigan. It looks more like a vest to me, but she said it was a cardigan. And then finally we have Lynn, who is in New Hampshire, and she is submitted to, the first is some mittens, and they are 1980s patterns, she says, and she got them from a Just Vintage Crochet tutorial on YouTube. And then she's done some trees, and these trees are a tutorial, again by Crystal, a Bag a Day, And then when she was done, she wove in some battery operated lights and made them glisten like a Christmas tree would. So I'm not sure if I mentioned at the beginning, but once again, we had 30 submissions. It's like 30 is our magic number, which is great. I'm very happy to have that many submissions. I'm kind of hoping that in the new year, maybe we get a few more. One thing I notice as you are sending me your submissions, and a lot of you make comments, that you're always looking forward to this slideshow that I've just shown you. And the other common comment that I've been getting lately is that you can hardly wait for next year's Cal, and I'm not going to call it a Cal next year. I'm going to call it a MAL, a make-along. That way there won't be any confusion and people will know they can make whatever they like each month when I give the inspiration. But I guess maybe it's the thought that there's going to be very bright pictures, very similar to the one I just showed you for this month. I'd say even brighter. And because we're going to be looking at tropical birds, and we know that tropical birds are very, very colorful. And I spent some time finding some of the most colorful ones that I could. So it seems you're looking forward to that, and I'm really happy to hear that. So now I know you're waiting for me to spin the wheel. And I went and got, apparently there was an updated version of that wheel to spin. So let me just find it. I'm not sure which of my, yep, here it is coming up here. So here is our wheel with all 30 names on it. And this time it's going to spin properly. And again, I will wait until it's done and announces the winner. So there's all 30 of the names, and there's the spinning. So colorful. That's right on the line. And it says Debbie won. Well, congratulations, Debbie, who is in Arizona. And I will be sending you one of the mill-end cakes. I'll try to get that in the mail. This is the end of the week. I'll get it in the mail the first of the week. I'll be going to the mailbox Monday or Tuesday. And while we're talking about the winner for the month, I got some happy mail this week. I was surprised. Last month, Michelle won the spin of the wheel, and I sent her a cake. And she sent me a thank you card. Now, lots of you email me, but this is the first time I've ever received a thank you card for the cake that I sent. And she's just telling me that she received it. And she's not sure what she's going to make, but she will send me a picture for sure when she decides what to do with it. So thank you very much, Michelle, for doing that. That was very nice because, like I said, most people just email to tell me that they got it. So I'll put that over there. And now what? I know what's next, and I know what you're waiting for. I don't know if you realize that every month there are actually two flowers of the month. There's a primary one and a secondary one, and I every month have used the primary one. But for December, I will admit to you, I did not use the primary one. And I'm trying to recall what it was, something like maybe Narcissus or something like that. And I don't even know what a narcissus looks like. Didn't sound very Christmassy to me. So I went to the secondary flower of the month for December. Sorry if you don't think that was appropriate, but I think you'll see why in a minute, because I think you would much rather do something in the colors that I'm going to show you for this coming month. So the flower for December is holly. And here is the picture. I'll fill the screen with it. I'll give you a minute to get a screenshot. It's a fairly plain picture compared to some of the ones I've had. Not many colors in it, so it boils down to our Christmas colors, red, green, and white. So hopefully you feel like making something Christmassy this month, but it's wide open to the things you could make, and maybe you'd be making something in Christmas colors anyway. Maybe you've even started something already for Christmas that you can finish and send me a picture of this month. So I'm going to show you the yarn I'm going to use myself. Now, at first, I just had 2 skeins of the same yarn, and this is the yarn. And it looks pretty Christmassy. And in a second, I'll put the picture up here beside so you can look at it. But in the end, I thought, well, the only thing you can do with 2 skeins that are like this and kind of busy is a shawl. And not that I wouldn't want to make a shawl, but I thought, you know, I think I really want to do something a wee bit different. So I went looking and I found a green, and I decided that I'm going to do the 2 of these together. Now you can see they are both from Expression Fiber Arts, so let me tell you about them. This is pearlescent fingering, one of my favorites. You can't quite see it, but it's in this, see where it seems empty? This has become a double bin. It was filled to the top with my pearlescent, and it was bursting its seams, and it actually collapsed the shelf. So I took the shelf out, I couldn't get it back in, and decided to make a double size with this in it. So if you don't mind my moving it, you see there's lots of pearlescent down there, and it's growing above the height of the shelf. So I have lots of pearlescent, and I'm going to start using it. So this is pearlescent fingering, which means it's 50% merino and 50% silk, and it definitely is very silky. I've used it many times and I really like it, and there are 550 yards in this hank, so I'm bound to have some left over that I can put with the other skein and make something. Now I'm going to flash my picture up here beside this. Maybe I'll go this way, beside the picture. And then I'm going to tell you about this green. Now the green is, this is another favorite of mine. The green is Cash Silk Sock. And that means it's 75% superwash wool, 15% cashmere, and 10% silk. So you can imagine that this feels wonderful. And it has 410 yards in it, so we'll only be able to go as far as this is. But the pattern I picked out, and I'm not going to show it to you, I'm going to let you wait till you see it at the end. I think it's going to be gorgeous. The pattern has solid, which will be this variegated. It has a solid section. It's a shawl. I didn't say that. A shawl with a solid area. And then it has very open lacy, which has this green in it. Then it goes back to a solid section of this. And then it has, again, lacy with the green. It's actually called cobweb something or other. It's that open and lacy. And the added thing is, and I hope I get them within the next week or so, in the green section, it has beads in it. And I'm really looking forward to working with something with beads in it. I've wanted to do that for a while. So that's my intention with these for December. Now, the next thing we have to do is talk about submission date. Now, because I'm on a bit of a holiday, not that I don't have a holiday most of the time, but I won't be taken up with dance classes and such. And I am not busy during the vacation. I'm going to give you until the Friday, December the 29th, to get your submissions to me. And when I give you that date, I mean right up until the end of the day. I then the next day make my list of everybody that submitted and what they submitted and copy the pictures to go in the slideshow. And I think 30th and 31st, I will have enough time to do that. And the slideshow will come to you on Monday, January the 1st, the beginning of a brand new year. 2023, the year of Judy, comes to an end. I will mention what I'm talking about at the end of the year for those that weren't here at the beginning of the year. And we will start 2024 with the slideshow for December and all of our makes using red, white, and green. I think these are going to be gorgeous together, and I can't wait to see how they look in that pattern I'm planning. And as soon as I finish what I'm showing you I'm working on, I'm going to cake those up and get busy. I may not get too far because I have to wait for the beads. So that's sorry, excuse me. So that's the December picture and the information about submission date and everything. So that's all taken care of. Now, a couple of things I wanted to talk about before I talk about December. First of all, while we're talking about colors and putting them together and everything, I just wanted to mention, I'm not going to go in depth about it, but a number of you, I'm sure, follow Gary at Urban Yarn. And at this past weekend, I think it was, Gary did a video talking about color matching and creating a mood board to help you put colors together. And he talked about an app that helps with the mood board. And I know a lot of you maybe are looking for help in selecting colors to put together and so on. He talked about creating a mood board based on maybe what you're feeling at the time to inspire you, and then shop your stash and find the colors to fit it. And makes a lot of sense. I'm going to link in my description box below. I'm going to link that video from Gary if you are interested. It was a very informative video. Now in my case, this is just Expression Fiber Arts. I have another one half that size over there, well, almost that size, of all my Canadian dyers and my US dyers. And then I have another little wall of cubbies over here. So that's a lot of hand-dyed yarn. And as I've been saying to you recently, I am not going to be buying yarn. I'm not doing 100%, no. I will occasionally buy something if I really see something I like. But basically, I've decided this year I'm going to shop my stash, as everybody is saying. So what I'm going to do is be going through my stash and trying to find 2 or 3 or 4 different skeins that go together or are, kind of funky together, I guess, that are bright and different and out of my box kind of thing, different, and put them together and see what patterns I can make with them. I'm even going to be like not just doing one color in another like I am with this. I'm going to be putting 2 strands together of things, and I'm going to look for patterns that would work where I can put different weight, like I could maybe put a fingering, a sport, and a DK together in the project. I want to do some really kind of different things in the new year. So anyway, I am going to link Gary's video because you may find that interesting and helpful in deciding on what colors to put together and so on. And I want to tell you, as I said, I will not be buying the yarn this year. I did make one small, for me small Black Friday acquisition from EFA, but that's getting shipped to Florida and I won't get it until the spring, so I will show it to you when the time comes, but it'll be small compared to last year's. And I did make one other order from a company in Ontario, a new company to me that I heard about from another creator, and I made a small order because they had 25% off, and so I ordered a little to try their yarn. I did not make a big order there either. I actually decided this year, since I'm not going to be ordering a lot of yarn, that I was going to buy a couple items for myself, tools you might say, and I'm not going to tell you what I got. I ordered both of them already, and I'm quite sure they'll be here for Christmas. So hopefully in December I'll show you those two items, which were Christmas presents to myself. And I think I'm going to enjoy having these tools for my my hobby. All right, now we come to December. Well, as you know, I have 4 yarn advents sitting over here. And I went and I got out, you know, this was a tri-fold board. I can put one of my advents on it. I have another one back here, this cardboard, you can't see them. And I have 2 of these big boards, one's black and one's navy. And so I have 4 different boards that I can pin them on as we open them. And I got thinking that, you know, a couple things went through my mind. Last year I opened them once a week, and I did every one once a week. Well, I had 3, I think, last year. Now I got 4. And I thought that would be an awful lot to do once a week. And I know, I watched last year, and I know creators that are planning to do what they call Vlogmas. And Vlogmas is where they open their Advent yarn every day. Day 1 to all the way through to day 24, and occasionally you have a big one on the 25th. And I considered doing Vlogmas, but I'll be very honest with you. Because I teach 2 days a week, I think I would find it a little bit difficult to be doing a video every day. And honestly, I don't know that you'd want me coming at you every day. So I thought I would compromise. And this was my thinking. I am going to do an opening of my Advent calendars every other day. It's still a lot, but not as much as every day. And all of mine except one came with only 24. I purposely did not order the 25th one. It came automatically in one of them, but I just ordered 24. Well, if you do it every 2 days, you're going to have 12 days to open it. So I'm going to call it, everybody else will be doing Vlogmas. I'm going to do the 12 days of Christmas. I will be opening 12 times, but every time it'll be 2 days. So I'm going to start, since we are November the 30th, today, I am going to start Saturday, December the 2nd. And I will do, in much shorter videos, of course, on the 2nd, the 4th, the 6th, and so on. And I will call it day 1, but I will also make sure in I think the thumbnail, I'll call it day 1 of the 12 days of Christmas, but in the heading, I'll say day 1 and 2, or Advent day 1 and 2, something. And I think by doing it this way, I'm going to have 8 8 yarns to open every day, so that'll be interesting. I won't be getting behind or ahead in the opening of the appropriate ones, because I know I have viewers out there that have the Aberdeen wool. Somebody has the Polka Dot Creek. I think a couple people have Aberdeen wool. So I did not want to be doing things ahead or behind, doing spoilers. This way on December 2nd, I will open day 1 and day 2, and we won't be that far behind. And then I'll open day 3 and 4 on the 4th. Now I'm going to do something else, but I'll tell you that when it gets here. So that's my plan for December. So hopefully you will join me each day when I open it. I don't expect it to take maybe 15-20 minutes. I'm not going to do regular episodes. I'm just going to do the opening of it. Now, it hits Thursday once during the month on the 14th, right in the middle. 13th, December 14th. Yeah. Anyhow, on the 14th, I might do a little longer video just to catch you up on other things, because I won't be showing you anything that I'm doing during the month. I might. Okay, we'll see how it goes. So that'll take us up to the 24th, and that is a Sunday. And of course, you're all going to have Christmas and be busy. And then on the 28th of December is a Thursday. I will be doing that extra one skein I could get with Tangled Poets. I'm getting the 25th. And I will do a year-end recap and, reaching my goals and so on the 28th. And then, of course, on January the 1st, we'll do our slideshow. So are we all together? We all understand every 2 days I'm going to do a short little video. On the 14th, a Thursday, it might be a little bit longer, but most of them are going to be, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes it'll take to open these 8, whatever it takes to open them. If you have questions, be sure to ask. Don't be afraid to email me, and if you're not clear. And that will end on the 24th of December. And then the 28th will be a regular show for a Thursday, and we will come to the end of our year. Okay, something I'm working on, I will show you both. I think I showed you this last week, and I've decided I'm not going to make it large. I'm just going to make it large enough to go around my neck. And at the moment it goes around my neck. It does come back around, but it's not, the tails aren't quite long enough. So I've decided I'm going to work on it tonight. I might be able to get, say, 4 or 5 more rows. I got to go back and look at the pattern and see if she did a border. I'm not sure. So I'm going to do what I can to make this a little bit longer, maybe use this up, and that'll be the end of that. Then I'm going to get started on my December project. But also this month, I'm going to be working on what people call whips. I call it a UFO. And I came across, well, it sits over there out of the way, and I decided I'm going to finish it now. And I have this basket with all of this yarn and this mohair. And this is, I believe it was Winter Glow from Hobie. And I made something, and I had this ball left over. And I thought, there is enough in there to maybe make a scarf or something out of it. But it's not, I mean, it's okay to wear, but it's not the softest. So then I bought from Hobie, I bought the Diablo, which is a mohair. There it goes rolling across the floor. Are you going to play with it? I got a furry friend down there on the floor. I decided to put them together. So I'm putting them together, and I started a long time ago to make, I didn't know what, but I've decided this is longer a little longer than a cowl, but a cowl can be any width. So that's a nice size cowl. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth. I'm doing the moss stitch, very basic stitch, and it feels much softer with the mohair in it. And I'm just going to go until this ball runs out. I have more mohair than I have here. So I'm going to work on that this month and finish another UFO for the year. And then I don't know what comes next, but I have several things in mind. So I'm going to be working on this in December, as well as my December holly inspired project. So that's it for today. I'm going to be seeing you in 2 days. I'm going to be seeing a lot of you in this next month, and I hope you enjoy how I've planned to open the advent calendars. And so until next time, happy stitching. No, happy hooking.